You are listening to Revealing Real Estate Podcast, where we dive into getting over your fear of taking risk in real estate and making money while you sleep. I'm Nico Pedizano, your host and real estate guru with over 20 years of experience. It's time to get real. Welcome back to Revealing Real Estate. We have a wonderful guest today. We are so excited. We've been prepping for this for about a couple of weeks now to have her on the show. I want to welcome to the show a mom, a wife, a businesswoman in the building and construction industry. She has been awarded with the Young Entrepreneur Under 40 Award, the Riley Brother Leadership Award from Build, the Next Generation Award from the CIBPA, and many more. She currently runs a successful company known as Opus Homes with her husband and family. I'm so excited to have Andrea DeGasperis-Ronco on the show. Andrea, welcome.
Thank you. That's awesome. That
like
intro
that?
sounds really good. Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
And we are so excited to have you on the show. We have so many questions that are built up to this because we've been long overdue to have a builder to really talk about what's happening with the current real estate market and where we are today and where the real estate market is going. But I first want to talk about a little bit about your story, right? Being a woman in a very male-dominated industry, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of what's the best way to put in this? It takes a lot of courage for sure. And I just want to know, how did you come up with the name Opus, right? I love the name Opus because you got the OP in that too, as well as I'm going to try to R&D that. And can you tell us your story, just how you got into where you are today?
Okay, absolutely. All right. So prior to being married, I am a DeGasperis, which is not, a very common name in the construction industry. Yeah. And so I went to York University for business, and I studied business and marketing while I was there. And the entire time while I was there, I always had this entrepreneurial spirit. And I always knew that one day I wanted to own my own business. But I actually thought, with my family being in the construction industry, that it was going to be a company that assisted my family in the construction industry, not necessarily, being in construction. And so I was also, very proud. I was the eldest of 9 grandchildren on this side of the family. And I was very much a boss lady from a very early age. I was getting my siblings and my cousins. You well, then. Yeah. And so when I was in university, I was very proud. I wanted to do things on my own. I never wanted to feel like or have anybody feel like I was riding my family's coattails. That was very important for me. So that quickly changed upon graduating from university. Right. Like I said, I thought I was going to have maybe a marketing company that helped my family's companies, but not necessarily join one of their companies. So upon graduating from university, my dad and my uncles sat me down and told me that there was an opportunity at the family's home building company. And my uncle runs a successful Arista Homes. And so there was an opportunity it was during the time of transition where home builders were having small decor centers in their sales offices, and they were building these ginormous decor centers.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah. And so it was a real time of transition for our industry. Right. And so they wanted to know if I wanted to join them in helping create their decor center and potentially running this decor center. And I knew nothing about construction. I knew I had written many marketing plans in school, and actually, to be honest, I had summered a few summers at Arista, and I did love it, but I didn't know much about the industry. So they were great over there. They took me under their wing. They taught me everything there was. Their construction manager took me out weekly. Their marketing manager was just really, taught me everything there was. And what's important to note is during that time, like I said, I never wanted anyone to feel that I was just getting a free ride because I was family.
Yeah, you wanted to prove yourself. Yeah. You wanted to prove that you had the knowledge base and you had the work ethic to kind of build it for yourself.
Absolutely. So I was literally like one of the first people there in the morning. I was one of the last people there at night. I was working on the weekends. I was really trying to prove myself. So I was there for just under 10 years, I'll say, and it was a great experience. In that time period, I got married. I got pregnant with my first child. And while I was pregnant, towards the end of my pregnancy, my dad just sat me down and said, "Hey, Andrea, have you ever thought of having your own home building company?" And I thought, oh my gosh, do you know how many headaches are involved in having a home building company?
It is. There's a lot of moving parts to that.
Holy, there's a lot. Like, I mean, really, it's a relationship you have for, let's say, 7-year warranty, plus you're selling homes 2 years in advance of starting construction, right? So it's like you're in it for the long run with these clients.
Course.
You're really developing relationships.
Yes.
So he planted a seed, regardless, with that question. And I thought, oh my gosh, if I had my own home building company, I could really do things differently than all these, no offense, but all these men out there.
I love that. That is awesome. And it's great. And it's really inspiring to know that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it is very male dominated.
Yeah.
And it's hard for a woman to get that recognition in this or in that sector or within the industry. Like in real estate side of things, there's a lot of real estate women that are very successful and do a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
And in many different sectors, there's a lot of women that are especially even in the corporate world. But when you talk about home builders, there's not really many that come to mind, right?
Not.
And when we were talking about, like, you know, one of the reasons why we wanted to have you on the show is because of that, right? It was what a great story this is for somebody to come on our show and just talk about how it is and what kind of difficulties you may have or have had during the process of starting up in your home building business.
Yeah. So, and I guess that leads to, you know, how we came up with the name and what we really wanted to stand for, right? So, so I had literally a 6-month-old in hand, and I knew that, you know, God bless all the moms who are able to stay home, be stay-at-home moms, and just tend to their children and their families. But I found out very quickly I was not one of those moms. Being home on, we'll call it maternity leave for six months before I started all of this up was a really challenging time in my life. It was very emotional. There were big emotional struggles, and I needed something else to keep me going. So I
understand those struggles because I work with my wife, and Angela is my partner within business for 20 years now. And we both got our real estate license back in 2004, and she's now the broker of record within that. But she has that same type of mentality, right? She never wanted to just stay home and just kind of watch the kids and have that role. She was very entrepreneurial inspired. She wanted to get out there. Her father had an established catering business, way back and still does. But it wasn't for her, and she wanted more, and she always wanted to achieve, to become something. And putting her even on our billboards and getting out there in the public eye was something that she had to get used to, and because I was more of that personality for it. But I understand those struggles, right? Because when you're dealing with 2 kids and trying to now run your business and to grow your business, and there's a lot of moving components towards that. And I want to get into kind of that relationship now, because I know your husband is also a partner of yours within the business.
Yes.
And you know, that work, spousal work relationship, there's a lot of things that people don't understand that, and I'm sure you go through those, or you guys have gone through those struggles. And not just struggles, I wouldn't call them struggles, but, it's hard to manage sometimes, right? That separation between, working from home or work and your home life. Yeah. Right? So I'll get into that. I don't want to get into that right now because, there's a lot of meats and bones that we're going to pick from that. But, after working in the industry for 10 years, you decided to create Opus.
Yes.
What was it like at the beginning stages for you? Like, how was that learning process? What was your first site? What was your first, how many homes did you start building?
Yeah. Okay. So we started very small. So I think first was we had to establish who we wanted to be, right? And how we wanted to be different. So there were a couple different pillars. So the first was I wanted to make sure that we designed homes that stood out from our competition, that were nice. And I've had other builder partners or builder friends that have been partners with the family for many years that we buy land together, who have said to me, and these are older men, than much older than I am, who have said to me, I feel sorry for you. You spend a lot of money on your homes. Well, that's the point. I want our homes to look great, and I want to be different than what you're building. Yeah, not that there's anything wrong with your business model, but my business model is very different, right?
We want to provide more. We want to give that client a different experience.
Yeah, exactly. And so with that, designing homes that have our signature Opus finishes in it, we wanted to have really, and this is our driving force, we wanted to have homes that really and clients that really felt taken care of. And I think that's where the woman side of it has really impacted the way we run our business. Not to say men don't lead with compassion, but I think a woman is much more likely to lead with compassion.
100%.
And I genuinely feel hurt when somebody's not satisfied with our process, right?
That's amazing.
And so not to say we give them the world, we don't give them the world. And from very early on, we explain to clients, this is not a perfect process. So just be aware that if something happens, because likely something will happen, it's, we're not building in a manufacturing facility here. Something will happen that you won't be happy with. We're going to hold your hand. We're going to walk you through this. And I tell this to clients all the time. And clients are welcome to call me. I speak to clients all the time. We have a very open door policy. And the only way we can manage having happy clients and building beautiful homes is really with the most incredible team. Like, I know everybody says they have the most incredible team, right?
It's the truth, though. It means everything, right? There's no way I would be able to build my success without my team. My team is everything to me, and having the right people on board that care so much for the growth of the business is essential. It's a real big component to what we need to do to strive and to grow and to satisfy our clients. It's hard to make everybody happy, for sure.
Absolutely.
Right? But yes, having a good team is very important. I agree.
And I think, we try to make them happy, our team happy, right? And provide a really great work environment. And I think in turn, they feel and live and breathe our Opus promise, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really great.
Yeah.
So your first site, where was it?
So our first site was in Whitby. So we have a community out there called Whitby Meadows, and we've been building out there. I can't even tell you how many years we've been building out there, but for several years. And so that was our first introduction to us building amongst our group. And our group is, our group of TAC builders, which is Arista Homes. After us came after Opus's inception a few years later, my other uncle started a company with his son-in-law, so Deco Homes, but then also other building partners, Paradise Homes, Fieldgate Homes, right? So we were all in this community together. And so there was a small double cul-de-sac of 28 lots that we have the pictures of us with shovel in the ground and looking so young, 2 babies in arm. And but that was our first community of really getting our feet wet, and definitely a huge endeavor. Actually, the community was called Endeavor. Definitely a huge endeavor. Nice. Learned a lot from that community. Yeah. But onward and upward. We were on from there.
Very nice.
We actually just discovered last week that we have sold now. We just hit a milestone of 1,000 homes. Actually, 1,017 homes.
Congratulations on that. That's
in 11
huge.
years. So we're really happy about that.
So it's averaging about 100 houses a year on average.
Yeah. There's some.
I'm sure certain years you're going to have more or less, but it averages out. Yeah, that's awesome, and that is a really big achievement for yourself and for your family and for your husband. Yeah. That is, and I know the quality of house that you build. I've been through some of your product. And I say it does stand out, and it is a little bit different from the competition, and I think that's something that really is something that I can feel the passion in you in what you do for your clients, that you sell that product too, right? Because it's not just about building them a home, and it's not just about the money aspect for you, right? And I always lead by passion, right? Passion is everything, because I truly believe if you're passionate about what you do, the money will become a byproduct of everything, right? And that's the main focal point in any business, and that's something that we try to inspire to teach to our agents, right? Because I don't want my agents just to transact to make that deal because it's about the money and move on, right? And sometimes when you just make it about the money, you act in desperation.
Absolutely.
And there's so many bad things that come out of that, right? But if you're leading with passion and you truly want what's best for the client, everything else is just going to follow smoothly for you within your life, right? So. That is awesome. I want to get back into now the family component, right? So your husband comes into the business, right? Did he automatically start with you? Because he is a lawyer.
He is a lawyer. Right? He's a real estate lawyer. Yes. And actually his family are home builders as well. They're Fairgate Homes out in the East End. And he grew up as a laborer working for them and went off to law school and then started conducting their real estate transactions, and then started conducting our real estate transactions and our closings and all of that. And so it was about, it was a few years in to Opus Homes where I was now pregnant with my second. And few months before I was due, my dad came out with the brilliant idea that, it was, Andrea, you're going to be on maternity leave. Maybe we should have like Michael here watching over things while you're on maternity leave.
toughest part is to let go as a
Yes.
as a mom now and
Yes.
as an entrepreneur. It's like, oh my God, I gotta let all that go right now because you gotta stay home for your kids, which is really important for you, right?
It is important. But again, if we go back to, my maternity leave lasted 3 weeks. By 3 weeks, this little guy was in the office with me. We had set up an office for him. We've had
That's awesome.
paper on the windows
Yeah,
so
like,
that, a dark little room.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, granted, I wasn't there all the time, but I definitely was back. But I was really nervous when my dad suggested this great opportunity, something that he thought was going to be so great. As much as my in-laws are great examples of having a home building company and both working together, and they do it quite successfully. I was really nervous now. Like, I had built this baby. This was like my thing. And now my husband was going to be coming in here. I really thought that it might end our marriage, like that there was a potential to be destructive to our marriage.
It could
right?
be, yes,
Working
100%.
together, living together. How are we going to do this together
Where
all the
do
time?
you shut it off?
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And that's the problem, right? You're at work and then
Exactly.
you got to bring it home. And those
Yeah.
are kind of some of the things that me and my wife dealt with. A lot of our struggles were like, we had to put rules in our business.
Mm-hmm.
When we brought our business, we didn't want to bring our business home to our kids.
Mm-hmm.
And that was hard at the beginning stages. Real estate was just, we went out for dinner. We were talking real estate. We know what was happening, what deals were going down, what's our team doing, who's doing what.
Yeah.
How do we continue growing? And then at work, we're at work and it's just business. So our entire life just became about real estate and our business and how we're going to aspire to continue growing.
Yeah.
We didn't have a shut off button.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to put rules in ours, right? So at home, it's like when we're in front of the kids and we're eating dinner, we shut it. There's no business talk, right? We'll have our moments during the week. We plan a schedule with me and my wife that if we're going to talk, we got to talk within the office. Let's book an hour aside. Let's just hammer it out and let's move on, right? Because sometimes what happens is a lot of times money or business situations will create arguments. Those were some of our things. I would not be where I am today without my wife. There's no way. My wife is such a strong woman, such an entrepreneur. She does so much, but we also had to separate to put our rules in the company where it's like, hey, you're very good at what you do.
Yeah.
I'm very good at what I do. I'm really good to negotiate, be in front of clients, managing and mentor my agents. You need to you manage the office, deal with the financing, deal with the commissions, deal with the receivables, deal with closing transactions, all that stuff. So we had to separate those boundaries.
And that's exactly how we successfully started working together. It took a few years, to be honest with you.
It
took
time.
a few years to kind of, divide and conquer, right? How are we going to not step on each other's toes? And honestly, he was great. Like, I mean, he really respected the fact that he was, he wasn't coming in to ruffle any feathers or impose his ideas. And he's not that kind of guy anyways. But yeah, it took us a few years to say, okay, this is what you're going to look after. This is what I'm going to look after. And let's
because
get
at
going
the beginning process, I guess you guys were kind of both just managing and doing everything at that point.
Kind of, right? And like because a lot of the lines blurred and crossed and then, we just really, same as you, we would try not to take it home. And, I hate talking about work at home. I hate it. And I hate bringing things home because then I feel like I get angry with my kids sometimes if I'm angry with something at work. And it's just not fair to anybody.
That's natural. Yes.
Yeah. We have neighbors on our street actually, and they're so cute. They have these meetings like every night, right? For 15 minutes, they sit down and they chat about their day. And we're like, that sounds so beautiful to do. Like just talk about what you've done in your day. And I'm like, I feel like we are always together. I don't know that there's time in that for us. Like
Well, exactly. We really don't need that within our lives. And a lot of times most people, or most marriages, couples will go out, he's going to go do his job. And she's going to go to work. And then when they come home, it's like, hey, how was your day? How was your day?
Yeah.
Me and my wife already know exactly how your day was. So there's no need to catch up on that stuff. Let's just focus on the kids here right now, right?
Exactly.
As much as it is or difficult to shut off. But again, I just wanted to hear a little bit about that. And I'm sure you guys have now got that under control.
Yeah.
And I'm sure now it's a great team. And
it is.
It's awesome.
And I honestly can't even imagine not having him there, right? Like there's just that level of trust that you have with somebody, that he's there and I know he's got my back and I've got his back and, we're doing this together.
So does he have his role is more dealing with the legalities of things and contracts and cost sharing obligations and development side?
Development finance.
That's a huge,
development finance. He kind of oversees the construction team and that. But and then I'm more the fun, marketing and client care and how we manage the overall process of our business and how things flow.
Yeah. There's a lot of moving parts to that.
Yeah.
How about acquisitions, land acquisitions and stuff like that? You have a team or department now that deals with that?
We're very fortunate. I mean, with part of our family, we have a land development team that the family holds that, the 3 builders now partake in. So that most of the land comes through the family arm. And then every once in a while we'll find a little piece and, if we need to fill a void or something and we'll buy a piece on our own.
Right. Got it. Yeah, I brought you guys a piece once. So you guys didn't end up buying it, but that's another story for another day. But it was a good piece. I ended up selling it, but it's okay. Sometimes it's not. Timing is everything in your industry,
Timing is everything. Yeah. And you know what the other thing is growth means different things to different people. And so for me, growth is not building more homes. Like although our next few years will show that we will be building between 200 to 300 homes.
Wow.
That's way bigger than I actually particularly want to be because I really want to know our clients. I really want to be able to have, that handheld approach. And that scares me, and I don't know that necessarily scares our team, but it scares me to think that as you get bigger, will you be able to maintain those core values?
Got it. Right. Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Enjoying this episode? Subscribe to our channel and leave us a comment down below to let us know what you want to learn next. Make sure you're following our Instagram and TikTok to stay up to date on our new episodes every Friday.
Opus is very well female driven. And I so, being in a very male dominant construction, I know we tapped on this. What were some of the challenges though that you faced? Did you face any of those challenges? Was it difficult? Did you felt like, you had to,
prove myself?
Prove yourself?
Absolutely.
Stamp your feet down and say, no, not going to happen.
Yeah. I think with anybody, a lesson in life is you need to know when to speak. Right. And I found that very early on.
A lot of people don't listen enough.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And so I needed to prove myself in a sense from the beginning I don't know everything. I still don't know everything. But early on, I needed to learn from those around me. I needed to learn dynamics, right? How these men, oftentimes we'd be sitting at a development table and I'm like the sole woman at that table, much younger than everybody else as well. And just, listening, learning, absorbing and all of that. And when I feel like when I do try to make a point, it is, an educated point and it is, something that I can bring from experience. And I think people respect that a lot more. I think if I had approached it differently and tried to be a yapper and just talk all the time, I think people would, it would have taken longer for others to, respect me and hear what I had to say.
Yeah, I get that, and I think it's a great position for you, especially wanting to be taken serious, from people that have been in the industry for very long, that have established themselves and built so much, and built the city, and it takes a lot, and it's very encouraging and very inspiring to hear that, and I applaud you on that. That is amazing.
Yeah. And I think the last 10 years there's been significant growth in myself as well. I think in life, most people really care about what others think of them. Right. And I think, I don't know, maybe it's to a fault, but yes, I care. Obviously I care. And I truly feel that at the core, I'm a good person. I have good intentions. Yeah. And so I know that that's how I am as a person. But I've stopped caring a lot about what others think. There's always going to be people, especially when you start to gain some success, people that criticize you, people that don't like you, and that's okay. That's okay. You don't have to like me. But if you don't like me, maybe it's you, maybe it's not me. Maybe it's not me, right?
Well, that's the truth, right? Maybe there's something going wrong in your life that you're so unhappy that when you see somebody else's success that you become very envious or very jealous.
Yeah.
I get it all the time. Yeah. Especially me. I'm on social media constantly, right? I'm in front of videos. I'm promoting houses. I'm promoting my team. I'm doing a podcast, right? And sometimes we call them trolls in the social media world of a lot of things. I think in your business, you're not so much in the forefront of the social media. you're more behind the scenes of things and your marketing team runs. It's all about, Opus. I'm the brand, right? My wife is the brand. We're on the billboards, we're on the bus stops, we're on the magazines, so we're on social media. And a lot of sometimes you get, and having kids at home, I got a daughter, I got a son at home, right? For them to be watching our Instagram feeds and sometimes like, oh, look at this guy, he thinks he's all cool. Or other agents, saying, hey, you're misleading, or you're not doing the right things, or you're just being very rude and very, very antagonizing on. Sometimes I used to, at the beginning part of my business, I used to care. I stopped caring. I don't because I came to understand that it wasn't me that was a problem. It was them that was a problem.
Yeah, and you're trying to do good. At the end of the day, you're just trying to do good, right?
And at the end of the day, you're just trying to do good, right? You're just trying to provide for your family and do what you need to do to be successful.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
So, no, that's pretty cool and really good milestones on that. What is the Helping Families program? How did you decide to build through them?
Okay, so Families Helping Families was one of our 4 pillars of when we started our company on what things that we wanted to achieve. And that's really a program that has grown and blossomed into so much more than it initiated. So upon closing, we give our clients a nice little package, but we also ask them to get involved. So we feel very fortunate to be building in this incredible industry, to be, successful in life. My entire team, we all have jobs. We're very grateful. We have families. And so we want to be able to give back to the communities that we build in. So upon closing, we actually ask our clients to get involved as well. And we have pre-selected charity partners that we work with, and we want to donate in those families' honors who've purchased homes from us. So we ask them which charity speaks to them, and we in turn donate to these specific charities. But more recently, we've taken it a step further. We've actually, Opus is now trying to do some transformational gifts in terms of, the YMCA that we built here in Vaughan. I actually chaired that capital campaign along with Peter Cortolucci. And so that was a whole endeavor in of itself and a whole new learning opportunity. Yeah. So we're trying to do some things like that. But one of the trade partners or the charity partners that we've been working with since the very beginning is 360 Kids. And it is a local youth organization here in York region that helps children who are living on the streets and just don't have a stable home. And it really provides them with entire wraparound services. And so our team is always up for anything. And I always tell them, when you sign here, you don't realize that you're signing on the fine print of all the things you're going to be getting involved in when you join our team, and social media and all this kinds of stuff. But we have a team of 10 of us who on March 2nd, the evening of March 2nd, we're actually going to be spending the evening outdoors as part of the 360 Kids Corporate Challenge. And with that, we're raising money, and we've had to raise our goal a few times now. We've almost raised $20,000 for this specific charity. Nice. And actually each year we usually bring a meal, and we serve a meal to the youth shelter and around Christmas time, and we give them goodie bags of things like care packages that they need, of items they need. Yeah. But yeah, so this year we've taken on this challenge, and our team is doing awesome, and we're all going to be spending the evening outdoors as if we're living on the streets, and conducting different challenges and stuff just to raise awareness for this charity. And so that's just one of the charities that are part of our Families Helping Families program. Right. And really it's just about us giving back and our clients giving back, not out of pocket. It's our pocket that we're giving back from, right. But just giving back to the communities that we build in, because it's really important part of life, right? Giving back. It
is, and helping out and paying it forward. I think it's huge, right? And one of the things that me and my wife always look for, and what we try to teach within our children, is making sure that we give first. Paying it forward is such a big part of my life and I love to get involved in these charities and these foundations. And we try to do, like for Sick Kids, we're always constantly trying to get fundraisers to donate to Sick Kids. A portion of my commissions actually gets donated to the Breast Cancer Foundation, as well to Sick Kids Hospital. So, and including our team members, like a certain portion of our contribution of our commissions get contributed towards those foundations, because life is about giving as well, and helping somebody that doesn't have as much as you, or needs a little bit more. And I think that is a huge part of success, and which really currently I've been blessed to have what I have. I'm blessed to have 2 beautiful, healthy children and a beautiful wife and a successful business. paying and helping out other families is very important to us.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
So
It's beautiful. Yeah.
yeah, thank you. Man, let's talk about the market now.
The market. Oh,
Yeah, so
boy.
we're going to get into the market a little bit here.
Yeah.
And we've gone through a big shift. From the resale side of things, the market, especially in Vaughan, has transitioned anywhere between 17 to 20% deduction in real estate prices. I'm finding that in the pre-construction or new home sector, a lot of sales offices right now, I feel, have just kind of put the brakes on things, right? They're not coming out to market. People, I really feel, don't understand how much money gets invested into a development of a community.
Yes.
Right? Whether you're doing 50 homes, 100 homes, 200 homes, there's cost sharing obligations. There's, making sure there's sewer capacity, park and road dedication, school dedication, like that. There's so many big, expensive components to getting a site or community developed. And if inflation or the market goes down, you guys have certain projections or price points that you would need to sell the product at to become profitable, because we all want to be profitable in any business that we start. And in certain situations, if you see that the market has now gone through this price reduction, how do you adjust for that?
It's tough. It is so tough. And, by no means do we as a company ever want to be sneaky in any way or anything, but we are trying to cause the least amount of disruption as possible, right? So, I mean, COVID, okay, everybody's tired of talking about COVID, but really
I think everybody's over it right now.
Holy jeez. But,
it's true,
as a result,
it was part of life.
As a result, everybody's costs have gone up. And so what's so interesting is that in the new home construction side of things, we have these contracts with our clients that are ironclad, and this is the price I've sold to you at. Yet, our contracts with our trades have only really been good for 6 months. And from when I sell to when I start construction, there's a few 6 months that go by, right? So
you got to renegotiate everything. Everything's got to be renewed.
Exactly. And so, what's happened now is that, we sold, for example, one of our communities, and at the peak of the market before everything started dropping, the prices started dropping. And so the price now, the retail price of the homes have come down, yet our costs are still
increasing. Cost of material, cost of wood. I remember plywood. You buy it at $40 a sheet. Now you're at $70 a sheet. It adds up. Build a house with wood.
Yeah.
It's,
But we have some land that we need to move on, right? And we have interest that's going to start building on us, and we need to kind of keep selling, keep pushing some of this product. And so it was, most of our projects that we wanted to come to market with, we have not, because the costs have come down so dramatically that, we're in, like I said at the beginning, we're in this for a long run with our clients. We're in like 9 years, probably a 9-year relationship we're in together. And so if my costs continue to increase, is it worth, what's that margin where it actually becomes worth it to pursue this endeavor?
Right.
And so, a lot of builders have been quite quiet and just waiting to see where things go. We've had one of those projects where we needed to move product on, and we've tried to do it quietly instead of, blasting out our social media and to say like we're coming to market with something very similar that we just sold across the street, but the prices have come down significantly, and, Mattamy was in the news with lineups outside, protesters outside their sales offices. There've been a few other builders with protesters outside their sales offices.
Yeah, there was a builder that gave all their deposits back at one point, right?
Yes.
I heard that was up in Innisful, up in Barrie,
where
he gave all the deposits back all to the consumers, and now these people don't have a home, right?
Yeah. And, I don't know that I would have, ever done
something
something like that to that extreme, but
not good PR on that one.
Yeah. But it's very challenging time. But this is what I've been saying to our clients. So, because I'm getting those clients who purchased peak market, and they're saying, can you take back my home? What do I need to do? And unfortunately,
or reduce the price.
Or reduce the price, yes. And unfortunately, the way we see it is, a contract is a contract. And I will say to these clients as well, if the market had gone up, because there have been so many years where investors have invested and the market has gone up, and within a year they've made $150,000, $200,000, I would never have come back and asked for more money. So we have to respect this market fluctuation,
correct.
right? And just like playing the stock market, you have to sit tight.
In any investment, there's risk involved.
Exactly. And so real estate is one of those where there's less risk, right? Because typically the real estate market will continue to increase in value. And so who's who's challenged right now are those investors who are looking to make a quick buck, who have 5 or 6 different purchases made by different builders, right? Through different builders.
Because that was their business model. They would buy these pre-constructions, hope they go up in value, and then try to flip them.
Yeah, but I can't imagine any builder who would just take back all of these houses to help a guy out, right? Like we're all kind of in this together, in this risk assessment together. Yes. We all have different risks at different stages, and we have a tremendous amount of risk now that the market has come down and costs are going up, and all these clients are saying that they don't want their homes anymore. So we're really trying to work with our clients, not necessarily on the pricing side, but, some closing extensions and helping them get financing and working with some great mortgage brokers that we know and do business with. And again, just being compassionate and understanding their situations along the way as best as possible, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because it is scary for them. And then those who have bought,
but it's
for
also
their
scary
family,
for you guys too, right? Because I want people to understand from a developer side of point, who's building houses, the amount of money that's getting risked through that process. It's not easy, right? Because now you got to have other sites that may, that you wanted to launch or get out to market that you've closed in on. Now you're paying all this interest on, but you can't go launch the market. And now you got to carry this out for the next year, 16 months. So I think that is something that people don't really see or take any compassion on from that perspective.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And, I think it's the perception is that the builders have a lot of money. And so you can take back all these homes but the reality is, we struggle during this time as well. Right.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I as a real estate agent, even with these, these condo sites, pre-construction, there was a lot of people, a lot of investors that would go in there and buy 5-6 units on these pre-launch buildings that would happen, especially in the city of Toronto, hoping that these flips would, or the market would go and increase in value. What I find is that this year, I believe there's about, 30,000. I think the number is about 30,000 condos prepared to close for 2023 right now, this year. And I can imagine how many of those are investors that won't qualify now for those mortgages to close on these deals. So I think that in my opinion, there's going to be this big influx of inventory. We are still in not normal recessions where we have a real big problem of lack of supply.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that is still what's driving the market. We just dealt with a deal not too long ago, last week, 18 offers in a property. The house sold for $300,000 above asking price in 4 days. Yeah. So there's still a really good, strong market. Yeah. Where do you think we are? How long do you think before we see, in your opinion, and this is just a hypothetical type of an opinion here, where do you think the market's going?
I don't know. Who knows? I wish I knew. But I think 2023 and into 2024 is going to be very challenging for home buyers needing to close their homes, given interest rates and just having to carry these homes that really a lot of people can't afford anymore. Correct. Yep. But I do see that the market has come down. I don't know. I mean, perhaps maybe the new home sales prices may come down a little bit more. I don't know. I really think they're at a low right now from what we're seeing.
So there are sites though you have adjusted that you've launched that you had to adjust on price, where you brought down that price where you would have gone to market at a much higher price point.
Yes, absolutely.
Back into prime.
100%. And I think this spring, we're going to start to see builders starting to relaunch their prices. And my personal thought, is that I really think that this is going to be a good time for buyers to buy now. Because will it drop so much more? I can't imagine how any builder would be able to sustain much more of a drop than the prices that are gonna that I think where the market is at right now. It's not feasible. Our costs are way too high. So I think it's going to be a good time to buy. I think like us, I think builders will try to be smarter about maybe extending closing dates. Right? We're selling homes. We've never sold homes where the closing date is 2 years out from now. Like that's a long time.
That's a long time.
There's a lot of
Correct.
stuff that can happen in 2 years. But we feel that gives the clients a little bit more feeling of security that by 2 years from now, interest rates will come down and we'll have a different market. And I really think that in 2 years from now, prices will have crept up again, right?
Yes.
So
I do believe the Toronto real estate market is a safe haven for investors or for people that want to get into the market. I do believe home ownership is really important. I really inspire a lot of renters through providing education to try to find creative ways to get into the market, because I think having ownership in real estate is your safest and most secure investment. And I think in Canada, it's a safe haven for sure. I think the market will increase. I think we are at the rock bottom, in my opinion. I don't see price points adjusting any further. I don't think interest rates will be going that much higher. Hopefully inflation gets under control. Employment has risen. My worry is in the trade industry, right? And that's a big problem, right? Masonaries, the bricklayers, carpenters, all that stuff. If builders or these condo sites have put a little bit of a hold, now you got about a 1 year delay on launching of new product. Do you feel that the trade industry will be in a certain kind of slowdown in getting business or having them or finding trades out there?
I think the trades have certainly experienced this over the past 2 years, that they've been losing workers. Things have been taking a lot longer because they're grasping at trying to find skilled
New
trades.
Business, yeah.
And I think as a country, as a province, I think we need to do a lot better of a job in trying to attract these
skilled trades.
Skilled trades, whether it's, through immigration or through, our current Canadians and encouraging them to go into the trade. There's a lot of money to be made. And that's what people don't realize. There's a lot of money to be made by hard work. And unfortunately, what we're finding is that a lot of the students who are graduating now from college or university, they're looking for more desk jobs than
don't want to be working on
put in the
construction
time,
sites.
right?
Correct. Yep.
So it's when you find somebody who's really willing to do that, it's very exciting. And there's a lot of opportunity for them.
Yeah, and I think with immigration right now, you got 430,000 immigrants coming to this country on a yearly basis. I think for the next 10 years, there's going to be a lot of people coming in. This is a great sector for them to start getting in. Absolutely. And encouraging them to start getting into the trade business, right?
Yep.
So,
yep.
Andrea, this has been wonderful. I just want to say thank you for coming on to the show.
Thank you.
I'm sure, have inspired, young entrepreneurial women like my daughter. There's a lot of people that are going to listen to this show that I feel you've provided some really wonderful education and some insight on the back end of being a home builder. You are inspirational as a person. I do appreciate everything that you have done, and I hope and I wish you all the best success moving forward as well.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I was honored to be asked to be on this. And if, I as a woman can inspire anybody, men, women, anyone out there, then that's all I want to do, right? Because in life, you got to be happy.
Yeah.
You got to work hard so you can play hard.
100%.
Yeah.
That's a great model, and thank you for that, and thank you for coming on the show again.
Thanks.
No problem.
Looking to buy or sell? Call a team you can trust. Don't believe me? Our Google reviews say it all. Put us on your lawn, your house will be gone. TheOPteam.com.